So, Skate 4 has been causing some havoc on the internet lately for a variety of different reasons. The OG players are absolutely furious, critics are absolutely raving, and new players probably don't have a single clue what's going on right now. So today I want to explore and talk about all of that a little bit more. Early access of Skate 4 has been available for people to play, with mixed opinions and feedback circulating the internet. Bear in mind that Skate 4 also releases at the end of the month, also in early access. A lot of players that have had access to this game have been sponsored by EA, so opinions might be slightly biased in some ways. Obviously, they want to earn their money. I completely get the hustle. That is so valid. But I'd like to add that in no way am I sponsored to make this video, or do I have a blicky aimed at my head being forced to make this. I also don't have enough subscribers to be getting sponsored by companies like EA, so if you could subscribe to the channel, this will be my honest insight about the whole situation. I'm going to cover the positives, the negatives, my conclusions, and my personal opinions, and if I will be playing this game myself. I was a massive Skate 3 fan. I put so many hours into that game, unlocking everything I could, meeting the boys after school at the mega park, and playing all night long. Let's start with the cons and why people are so annoyed about Skate 4. To begin with, Skate 4 is a free-to-play game, which at first glance sounds absolutely amazing. You don't have to spend £60+ on a game, but when you see the direction that most free-to-play games go in, this suddenly becomes less promising. That's when we get onto the vast microtransactions that Skate 4 has to offer. With the game being free, it has to have an alternative method to making money. That's where microtransactions come in, and that's where the option to buy a variety of clothing items, skateboards, shoes. The game does have unlockable items that you can earn for free, but the way they have done it is very questionable to many people. Unlocking items without paying comes through a loot box system. You have to rank up, open loot boxes, and unlock a random item each time. I can personally imagine the gamble hit feeling when you open a loot box and unlock a fresh pair of Nike Air Maxes. But the question is, how long will it take to unlock the item that you really want? It is a complete gamble hit, and there is no guarantee that you will ever get this item. Doing it this way, in my opinion, doesn't feel as meaningful as working your way up through the game, completing challenges and unlocking cool and various items as the game goes on. Personally, I think it's a little bit lazy. That is just my opinion. The art style has also been criticized quite a lot with Skate 4. As you can see, it looks a lot more family friendly. Right, it is a skateboarding game. How can you get any more family friendly than that? It's almost Fortnite-like or Sims inspired, which is a huge shift from earlier titles such as Skate 3, which gave a much more realistic and gritty vibe to it. A huge controversial direction this game took was making it entirely online, meaning that to play this you will need an internet connection, even if you want to play solo. And if your internet isn't the best, I can imagine you're going to be pinging all over the map. It's not going to be good, man. The game is described as a living, breathing, massive multiplayer skateboarding sandbox. That's up to you to decide. Is that a vibe? Is that not a vibe? Going back to Skate 3, this game had some iconic game modes such as Death Race, where you and other players would have an intense race through a variety of courses, hitting jumps, crashing into each other, pushing each other off. Listen, I got into so many arguments playing Death Race. It was crazy. And you also had Skate, where you would attempt to copy each other's tricks and skills, but you would have the sweats who would ping together the craziest skill set. My little fingers at the time could not keep up, so I'd never win Skate. Okay, we didn't play Skate. Skate sucks. But in Skate 4, none of this seems to be visible in what we've seen so far, which I think is a little bit concerning, as these were core game modes that really made Skate 3 memorable. Instead, Skate 4 offers basic challenges spread across this small map, which seems to be quite bland and repetitive in ways. Talking of the map, it seems to be quite small and linear compared to the size and variety of Skate 3's map. This could be due to the massive online multiplayer capabilities, or maybe this is subject to change with it being in early access. But Skate 3 had so many iconic locations such as the mega park, the shark thingy bobber, the hills that went down to the tennis court. That's just off the top of my head, but it had some really cool locations. Right, I'm going to stop being a negative Nancy and we are going to start talking about the positives for Skate 4. With this new title in the series, it introduces some new movement and mechanics, showing off some interesting parkour and new ways to traverse the environment, which I I think is quite refreshing and fun, as in previous titles, getting to certain spots felt like an absolute graft. So I do think it is nice that they have come with a new approach to the game. Also, touching on the new engine and animations, I honestly think they are really cool. They are very smooth, they are very responsive, and mixing tricks together still feels so good as it did back in the older titles. Like, it genuinely feels fun to hit tricks. So as you know, this game is set to be an online multiplayer skater. Now, depending on how you look at this could be extremely fun. Friends and communities coming together, smashing out an insane trick sesh, riding in convoys. In a perfect world, everybody gets on, has a fun time together, spreads loads of love and positivity, no toxicity, but this is gaming in 2025, so we will see about that. If you're a casual gamer who doesn't care about all the details, I'm sure it will be an insanely fun experience. So my little conclusion to all the controversy going round at the moment for Skate 4, although the cons seem to be outweighing the pros, it is still in early access, and as frustrating as this is the way gaming goes in the modern day. Ideally, the creators will listen to the player feedback and implement changes accordingly to what we want and what we suggest. Let's just take the Sonic movie for example. Can you remember when that came out and the internet blew up? People were furious, but they actually listened and changed it, and Sonic was saved. So this could be a similar situation, but that's going to happen, right? There is still time to change things and tweak things to how we like. Again, I understand the frustration with modern games releasing as early access. Like back in the day, you would pay for a game and it would be finished before releasing, which I think made them feel a lot more complete and there were less things to talk negatively on. Now, this is just me being picky, but I wanted to add a little segment into this, talking comparisons with Skate 3 and Skate 4. Firstly, the writing in Skate 3 to me seems a lot better than Skate 4, with Skate 3 having a lot more ways of progression, building a skate brand, iconic characters, and interesting storyline. Microtransactions do also scare me a little bit. I love how Skate 3 only had paid DLCs that were genuinely fun, but also had a lot to unlock in them, which kept you very hooked into the game to progress further. I'd argue Skate 3's art style takes the cake here. I love the gritty, more realistic look to that game, feeling more personal and skate-like. And finally, the soundtrack from Skate 3 will never be topped. The Skate 4 soundtrack is not hitting the same whatsoever. I did not find myself vibing the way that I used to. And finally, will I be playing Skate 4? I absolutely will be trying this, and I'll definitely be trying to convince the gang to also download it. I want to give it a good go, and I'm holding on to hope that the creators will listen to player feedback and make the right changes to the game. Do you believe that game creators are capable of doing this in 2025? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe. We've got more updates coming, some challenge videos, and I'm always open to content suggestions too. I love a good yap, and apparently so do you if you've made it this far.